Well, there seems to be little doubt that human prosperity has caused at least some of the increases in temperatures around the world over the past 200 years. Weather patterns have constantly changed throughout the unimaginable depths of time. However, the IPCC was established to study and fight only man-made global warming. This clear bias is the first reason why I am skeptical about the theory of catastrophic anthropogenic climate change. Glaciers have come and gone without the influence of coal or petroleum exhaust, but that doesn't stop the United Nations from using predictions of a hopeless, ugly future to promote a carbon tax as the only way to prevent famine, war, and desperate migration that they claim will happen on a massive scale if they don't get what they want. A wise man named Bob Dylan once said, "You don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows." I see the most prominent alarmists pushing very aggressively for a gargantuan business deal that will make them even richer, while poor people who spend a higher percentage of their income on energy will suffer. Celebrities like Al Gore, David Suzuki, and Leonardo DiCaprio do many times more jet setting in a year than most folks can hope to enjoy in their lifetimes. They own mansions, yachts, and supercars while insisting that the Earth's population be forced to use less energy by a convoluted system of credits and penalties. Over the past 20 years, the pressure to stop adverse weather has been relentless. Regular warnings appear in the mainstream media telling us that the dire predictions of disaster were not dire enough, and the slow emergency is speeding up. However, reality is falling behind most of the expensive computer simulations that so much of the hullabaloo is based on. The record temperatures that keep squeaking in need to be significantly higher, and the Arctic needed to be ice-free a few years ago for these warnings of accelerated warming to be true. This is another reason why I doubt the intentions of alarmists. They are shameless in their fear-mongering, despite data that clearly contradicts their claims. Far from accelerating, many weather phenomena have, in fact, decreased in frequency. Violent tornadoes are trending down. Major hurricane landfalls in the United States are sharply down. Despite the exceptional California drought, the overall trend is down over the past 20 years. If the truly disruptive heat waves of the 1930s happened today, they would certainly be blamed on that small fraction of the atmosphere in question. Unfortunately for alarmists, that tragic suffering happened decades ago when it does no good to their cause. Much smaller calamities must suffice for what they call irrefutable evidence of forever impending doom. Talking us out of their money would be easier if polar bears were actually dying off, and millions of refugees were on the move because their land is no longer viable. However, polar bear numbers are creeping up, and people are only fleeing the brutality and incompetence of governments and the religious extremists who wish to replace them. The supposed consensus in the scientific community is also highly questionable. One of the studies that received a lot of attention describes nearly total agreement between only 79 individuals. Scary announcements were subsequently made that climate change is dangerous, man-made reality that basically all scientists agree in. Such statements completely ignore the warmer and colder periods that happened before accurate records were kept. Alarmists simplify this complicated issue to avoid implications of details that don't support their huge financial demands. Often, when any sort of doubt is raised, the offending person is labeled a climate denier, which is a nasty and inaccurate term that subtly associates skeptics with neo-Nazis.